Welcome back, everyone, to episode 17 of the Tricks and Traps Speedrun. So I'm coming into today rated 1245, and I know I did mess up the win counter in the last episode. I do appreciate the few of you that commented, letting me know. Should be fixed now. I do have a win streak of 71 games, so we'll try and keep it going in this episode. Let's hop into the first game. Okay, first opponent. I am black, playing Mokamo. And what do I want to do? Let's play the Alekhine. I did play the Alekhine in a recent episode. There have been some requests for the O'Sullivan Gambit, but D3 is not mainline, so go into something a little bit different. Now this does look a little bit passive, but the nice thing is I can play C5 here. And it's similar to a French, but I haven't committed to E6. So maybe there's a possibility of developing the bishop someday. Just realized my headphones were plugged in, so getting the move sounds here. Bishop to B5. Queen A5 should always be considered, but then there's knight C3. So let's just keep developing. Knight C6. I don't mind if takes and takes. Then the bishop can maybe develop to A6. Okay, black or white takes on C5. So I actually have a choice. I could take back with the knight. I could take this pawn. I'm also calculating queen A5, knight C3, D4, but then there's bishop takes C6. Yeah, I'm going to go with my first impression, just taking on C5. And this opens up the bishop to develop next. Feels like a pretty fresh position. Nothing too crazy happening yet. Still in the opening phase. Maybe we'll see knight C3 attacking the pawn. Knight F3. So now I have a choice, bishop F5 or bishop G4. I'm going to play bishop G4, a bit more active, pinning the knight. White might go for queen D4, which is a double attack. But then I can take on F3, and I'm not losing material. Okay, H3. Yeah, maybe trying to provoke me to take. But I think in a situation like this, it's very nice keeping the light squared bishop, especially given that white has traded off their light squared bishop. It's going to be more difficult in the middle game for white to contest the light squares, also to resolve the pin. So, okay, let's keep developing. Get ready to develop the dark squared bishop. The knight's a little bit awkward on c5. I kind of want the bishop to be on c5, but I don't really want to retreat, although maybe I do. Like knight d7 does have a very direct threat. Yeah, I think there's lots of incentive to retreat the knight. It's a so-called retreating attacking move. And white's bishop should probably be on f4 to support the pawn. Bishop f4 is played. And now I have a similar choice as previously. Like, do I develop more towards the center? Do I pin the knight? Do I do something else? Queen b6 comes to mind. g5 comes to mind too. Oh, g5 looks fun. If takes, I win material. Yeah, I'm going to start with g5. And this actually opens up the option of bishop g7 to add another attacker to the pawn. White takes, so I only briefly looked at this, but I'm pretty sure I win a piece. It's a common tactical sequence where Yeah, my queen's attacked, but I can take the knight and counterattack white's queen. And if takes and takes, both bishops are attacked. But basically I won a knight in the process. Yeah, so white can either take and allow me to take, or save the bishop, and then I would save my bishop and win the c2 pawn. Unfortunately, I can't castle here. It'd be nice to castle through the bishop and take it, but let's take with the rook. Still attacking the pawn. f4 makes sense. Rook g8 comes to mind, but then there's g4. So I'm going to play h5. More of a prophylactic move. Preventing g4. Maybe looking to play h4 and clamp down, and then eventually rook g8. Yeah, knight e2, maybe looking to play this. I like rook g8 immediately. Pressuring the pawn. White has a few ways to defend. Rook g1 is one of them. But now bishop c5 hitting the rook. And if the rook moves, then I'll win the pawn. Yeah, white should probably play knight d4 here, which is self-pinning, but it would hold on to things. Okay, white instead gives me the pawn. And now I'm already like thinking about mating ideas. The bishop and rook actively placed. Probably need to bring in more pieces. Like the knight wants to join the party. The other rook as well. I'll play knight b6. Looking to hop in. Now bishop e3. Bishop e3, knight c4 will defend the bishop. Yeah, for a brief moment, this looks like it traps the bishop, but yeah, I can defend. I didn't want to play bishop f2 because then king f1 would win material back. So very nice harmony with the pieces. Pawn defends a pawn, defends a knight. Actually, the king defends a pawn, defends a pawn, defends a pawn, defends a knight, defends a bishop. Takes away a lot of squares in white's territory. I still want to improve this rook. But there's probably other things to do. Yeah, let's just get rid of this knight, and then I'll win the pawn on c2. I was going to say there's probably two ways to improve the rook, either king e7, rook g8, or a5, allow take, and then rook b8. Yeah, I don't really want to allow rook g8. And if this and this, so I'll play king e7. Yeah, just trying to make another open file. Now this is not mate because rook d1. So I guess I'll set it up. I'll play knight e3, controlling d1. Threatening mate in 2. Yeah, rook d2 is the best move. But now knight g2 looks nice. The knight's defended through the second rank via X-ray vision. And if king e2, I can take with the fork. So we might see king d1. Yeah, this does resist a bit. I was hoping to get a quick mate, but that might not be the case here. Although there's kind of a... Oh no. I was thinking here, and then here, and then here, but then there's this. Okay, let's take the rook. I'll take the pawn. And I do have two connected pass pawns. It would be nice to play d4 and then rook b2 and force the king back to the first rank. My knight's attacked, so retreat, but it's another retreating attacking move. Okay, white is going to try and push the pawn. I do admire the fighting spirit from my opponent. I'm wondering, are there any lines where I allow white to queen and then mate? Like rook b2, I don't think it quite works as much as I want to do it. Let's play this. a7, rook a8. Okay, I do have to watch out for this pawn. So, yeah, what's the best way to do it? Knight b6. I'll go for knight b6. And the knight can help also cover a8 so the rook can mobilize. Yeah, well, that might do, like, assuming rook a6, I'll play king c7, walk the king to b7. Okay, here, I guess I'll start pushing the pawns. Here I have 4 connected pass pawns. I still have to be careful. Like, there's this rook a6 move, but I'm going to trust my instincts. h7. My pawns are also pretty quick. There's some chance white will walk into a fork. Like, we'll probably see king c2 or king e2. But are we going to see this or this? Both moves walk into the fork. The best try is probably king d1, but I'll keep pushing. And if white plays rook a6, then and there's multiple ways to win. The simplest might be king c6, at least the safest. However, I want more. Let's do this. And if this I check, I think I'll just walk my king to e3 and give mate. Or I can put my rook here. Or no, that doesn't work. Because then white queens with check. It's still probably... Is it winning? That might actually be losing. So white would make another queen. There. So where's my win? I still play this. White's gonna queen. Oh, here's my... No, it's not... I thought I had rook h1, but then queen takes h1. If I play this, and then this, that might actually be the cleanest win. d2. It feels so wrong. But I'm going to queen with check or checkmate. Yeah, let's play d2. That was a weird finish to this game. Kind of a cool finish, though. So white was able to queen, but I'm also queening. And it should be made in a couple more moves. King g3, check, and yeah, the queen does help control the diagonal. I have too many things swarming around the white king. Okay, there is one legal move. No, it's still not mate. Okay, the game will go on a little bit longer, or not. Yeah, I actually didn't realize my opponent's time there. So pretty long game. Big kudos to my opponent for resisting, creating chances in a position which I really thought I was going to win pretty easily. But yeah, interesting opening. Wow, so this is actually like engine approved for white. E5, white slightly better. Yeah, the engine actually prefers pawn e5 from black. And then this is like a improved king's pawn because the bishop is blocked in. Maybe I should have played e5. It is a more principled approach. But then later on, I think everything was pretty smooth. Yeah, I won material. Maybe there were more effective ways to convert. But got the job done. Up to 1253. Let's keep it going. Next opponent, playing Skyer. And okay, I'm going to play g4. There have been multiple comments requesting a Grob opening. It's not my main opening of choice, as many of you can probably figure out, but it is a legal move. And it can lead to very like weird positions from early on. So one of the points is to try and deflect the bishop to take the pawn on g4 and then target long diagonal, especially b7. Can be victimized in many lines. I think here I'll just play g5. Try and remove the knight from defending d5. This actually already looks pretty good for white. I'm not sure if I'm winning a pawn, because let's say the knight moves somewhere, the g-pawn will be attacked. But it's kind of a question where the knight moves. This is pretty ugly. If knight e4, I can take and attack the knight. Yeah, kind of a big decision for black. And there's knight h5. We do see knight e4. I'm going to take this pawn. Attacking the knight with the bishop. And if black takes on g5 with the knight, I can play h4. And the knight will actually be trapped. So the pawn on d5 controls a pretty key square, e6. Queen takes g5, attacking the bishop doesn't work because I just take and save my bishop. So somehow my opponent stumbled into some kind of Grob opening trap. Probably not a typical type of trap. But actually, okay, they do sense the danger, so they're not getting the knight trapped. But I will just be up a pawn. d3 or h4? Play d3, just try and activate the bishop. When bishop g4 is played, my immediate instincts look for queen a4 check, but the knight is covering a4. So I think I'll just keep developing bishop e3. Pressure the knight a little bit. Probably knight c3 coming next. Okay, knight d7. All right, I'll play queen a4. It's an active move. It also attacks the bishop. And sometimes at this rating level, players will miss these long distance attacks. Of course, black should probably move the bishop, bishop h5, bishop f5. If black tries to defend the bishop with a pawn, there's en passant. Okay, but black does hang the bishop. And opponent resigns. So yeah, pretty quick game. 9-move win with the Grob. Maybe I'll play it a few more times in this series, especially if it works out this well. Yeah, I don't think there's much more to analyze. Already after the opening, it was quite good for white. Although the engine says black's okay if knight h5. Yeah, I guess because the g-pawn's hanging, then it's not so easy for white. Engine says d4 is best. Anyway, let's keep it going. Up to 1261. I'm white again. Okay, let's go back to e4. And I'm trying to remember what people were asking for. There was at least 1 or 2 requests for a Scotch gambit. Just takes and then bishop c4. Okay, bishop b4 check is a very dubious move. Not only does it lose time, but here I'm winning a pawn for free. Yeah, even at this rating level, it's an important lesson that not all checks are actually good. Maybe black is trying some weird gambit. I'm kind of tempted to just pin the knight. But I'm also tempted just to take the pawn. And develop. Okay. I'd really like to make some tactics work in the center, but they don't really work. e5 is controlled from black. So we'll keep developing. Try and be active. Knight d2. I'm holding off on castling because I might want to castle queenside. Yeah, let's stay flexible. Queen c2. Castling queenside has the benefit of getting the rook to d1 right away. And then it also makes it easier to attack in the middle game. My king is on the opposite side as black's king. Yeah, this pawn's still defended. The knight is still kind of pinned. But yeah, h3 will likely come. Knight e5. Okay, putting pressure on the pinned piece. Interesting. It's very tempting to take because I hit f7. I'm actually not sure about takes and then rook takes. Attacking my bishop on g5. We could trade a bit. And the safe move is bishop e2. I'm looking for more active moves. Queen b3 comes to mind. H3 also comes to mind. I actually kind of like h3. Everything's defended. Like f3 is defended enough times. I'll take with pawn. Actually very happy to get the newly half-open g file. Oh, it's so tempting to take in rook g1. But there's no need. That's also probably just not good. So let's maintain the pin. Actually, if I played this, there's takes and then bishop f4 check. I think it's better to keep the bishop in the center. And then the bishop's still eyeing h6, so rook g1 will actually come with a threat. Yeah, there's also ideas of f4, e5, b6. Feels slightly random. Okay, I'll start with rook g1. Aligning with the king, threatening this. The standard response would be king h7 or king h8. On h7, it aligns with my queen. So if king h8, I'm calculating f4 and takes, but okay, that's not happening. Black's allowing me to take. Might as well. Okay, g6. I'm smelling blood. But how to do this? I want to remove the knight and then play rook takes g6. But okay, of course the knight is hitting the bishop. So let's play bishop d5, attack the rook. If the rook moves, then f4 should be very, very good. Yeah, c6 was probably the better move there. And I probably would have had to move back. But now this is big trouble for black. I can take, exploiting the pin. And then if king h7, I can take on f7. Yeah, no mercy here. King h8. I think I'll still take on f7. So the black shelter is collapsing on the king side. White is currently up 4 pawns. It still takes some work to checkmate. There's actually a funny mating idea to play this. But now that no longer works. I was thinking takes and then rook h6 mate, but the bishop is controlling h6. So rook g1 comes to mind. Yeah, I'm happy to leave the tension between the bishops. And now I'm ready to take and then mate. Okay, I'll take with queen. Yeah, the classic advice when you want to have a powerful attack, you should attack with as many things as possible. And here, like, all these pieces are playing a role. Even the queen, actually soon to be especially the queen. Queen h6, and let's mate next move. Okay. Yeah, feel good game. Nice finish. Stemmed from a dubious opening. Not sure if I could have done more to punish my opponent. Engine prefers bishop f4. I just didn't want to trade queens. Yeah, and then later, I think everything was under control. Yeah, black had to be careful here, but it's already quite bad according to the engine. So that brings me to 1269. I think I'll do one more game to end the episode. And I'm white again. The e4. d6. Let's play bishop c4. And I'm going to play queen e2. This is a slightly strange move order. But the point is to transpose into a line where I can prepare the very quick e5. Okay, bishop g4. It looks playable. Whenever bishop g4 is played, you really have to look for tactics, but I don't think those tactics work. Yeah, let's just go for e5. Being very direct, maybe the pawn will get to e6. Yeah, I was wondering about this. I think this is already winning material for white. Because the knight is pinned to f7. And the usual move is knight d5, but d5 is controlled twice. And that is checkmate. Okay, that's a 9-move win. Pretty quick. Let's do one more. I was planning for this to be the final game, but that was a little bit too quick for for my liking, so it feels weird to say, but let's do one more. Okay, black this game. Pawn b3. I'm going to play my usual against pawn b3. Just normal moves. White's playing the main line. And this position, there's a move I really enjoy playing, pawn e4. It's a move I didn't learn until like several years of struggling with this, like what to do against b3. But at some point I saw this in like a video or maybe a book, and it's a nice way to remove the target from e5. And yeah, basically regardless of what white does, assuming the bishop stays here, I just play a6. Bishop a4. So I've never seen this idea. So white's basically prevented b5. But can I just go full aggressive with knight b4? This looks really nice. There's really no way for white to stop knight d3. I'm also leaving the bishop a bit awkward here. I might have the idea of c6 and b5 to trap it. And knight d3 is a fork too. So this is really unpleasant for white. Yeah, it's a great example of just a weak square in white's territory and black's full control. Now I'm attacking the rook, but more importantly, I'm threatening mate in 2. Yeah, the game is ending next move. Okay, that's another 9-move win. I think I'll end it there. Couple of miniatures to wrap up this episode. Yeah, not sure if there's much to analyze. c4 is probably not the best approach. Like more often people play knight e2 and then a6 and then take and then take and then d3, and yeah, white can kind of play this position. A little bit passive, but playable for both sides. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the chess today. Wrapping it up, rated 1285. Hopefully next episode I can break 1300. As usual, if you have questions, leave them below. If you have more opening suggestions, also leave them below. And I'll see you guys soon for the next episode. Stay tuned.